This is the directorial debut of writer, director, actor Eva Victor, who's done some TV. She was on the show Billions, I believe. And this is her debut. And this debuted at Sundance back in January. Did some festivals, came out over the summer. Heard a lot of buzz about it. Heard a lot of people talking about it. Some people saying like this might be the best thing of the year. That kind of small indie buzz. So we finally got around to seeing it this week. Eva Victor plays Agnes, who, when we first meet her, she's meeting her friend played by Naomie Ackie. They were in graduate school together. This is some years after that. They're meeting for, she's visiting for the first time in a long time. They're catching up on life, and Naomie Akkie's character is having a baby, and Eva Victor, Agnes, is teaching at the college they both went to. But they allude to something that happened in the past, and Naomie Ackie is very much concerned for her friend and wants to make sure she's all right, make sure she's all right mentally. And then we get some backstory into what happened. Them and their group, their crew, was in graduate school, and it's a very heavy subject matter, but it's about trauma, like a lot of things are, but it's about what it's like to survive that and what it means for you to have to deal with that on a daily basis, when all your friends, like the world moves on without you. It reminded me of Manchester by the Sea, is a similar thing. In that case, it's a death in the family, and the world just kind of moves on, and you have to keep moving as well. But it's darkly funny. Like this is, I don't think this is a spoiler. This movie's about sexual assault, and there's a lot of jokes in it, which that might make people uncomfortable, but that's kind of our character Agnes. It's like that. She's lovable, she's quirky, she's funny, like she's always cracking jokes, and even at the worst moments of her life, she's finding humor, and it's that's part of how she deals with it. But it's very complex because it's about this terrible incident, how she's dealing with it, how it's affected her friends and her community, and how she has to just kind of keep going, and kind of act like this thing didn't happen, and find ways of coping and surviving. It's a very powerful movie, and it's small in scale. There's just a few actors in it. Zach, what do you think?
I think this is really tremendous work from Eva Victor, who I have not seen outside of this movie. Like, just watching it, I was thinking, who is this woman starring in the lead here? Because you'd think it'd be Naomie Ackie, right? We've seen her in a couple other features. Love Ackie. But Victor's the star here, and Naomie Akkie's supporting. And I was like, who is this woman? And then it's particularly surprising to see she also wrote and directed this movie. Oh God. All right. Not only are you starring in your own feature and having to hold down this very deeply emotional and tender and often funny, but often like very, very tender. That's what I'm looking for, I guess. Performance. Like, you're also like, you wrote this script and you have to get us from scene to scene and carry this emotion and carry the audience through it. There's something that's particularly challenging, and it's so tough because Agnes is a character who is just stuck. And I think so much of Sorry Baby is about like point of view, right? Perception. Agnes does not necessarily feel like what exactly happened to her is what everybody says. And she doesn't, like, there's nuance to it. And the people she tells about this incident, they tell her, well, this is kind of what that sounds like. This sounds like it's, it sounds like assault, Agnes. Like, this is bad. And she's like, you're right. But like I kind of don't feel that all the time. And as she kind of grows with it and learns more, like, her life just slows down, and the volume comes down for what's going on. She's a grad student, right? Like, things are exciting. She's a future ahead of her, and everything gets turned down from this thing. And she ends up just kind of trapped and stuck and stunted. And you get this wonderful foil of Akkie's character, who's her friend, who is continuing to grow, right? She finds a partner and they get together, and then they find a sperm donor, and they're going to have a baby. And like, her life is continuing to roll down the hill, and Agnes is just kind of trapped in this horrible place. And like, that creates a lot of space for humor. It's surprisingly in ways that's really funny, very funny movie. But damn, it's a tough watch sometimes. Like, it hurts, man. Like, I feel so much for Eva Victor in this role, like in this story.
It reminded me of Promising Young Woman and how much better this handles that subject matter, because it just feels so raw and so real. Like, Um, you see her go to this house at the of her graduate advisor in the daytime, and then it cuts to her leaving the house disheveled hours later, and that's all you need to know what happened. But also, it's so much more about her. It's about her as she doesn't see herself as a victim; she's a survivor. And sometimes she forgets that the incident even happened, and then there's other parts where all these different different things trigger her PTSD. And this is one time I read something about trigger warnings are kind of useless because anything can be a trigger, and it can be as simple as a smell, a color, a place. It doesn't have to be something very explicit. And there's a lot of that in this movie. For instance, there's this thing about her taking off her boots, and she can't wear those boots ever again. Like, she puts them in a bag and throws them out. And there's different things that will just set off her memory and what happened. And but then there's also her working through it. It's a very kind of hopeful and uplifting movie dealing with a very, very dark subject matter in a very comedic way. Like, she's just cracking jokes throughout the whole thing while also reliving the horror. Like she does of this a couple of really moving monologues, but one where she kind of describes the incident as she remembers as it was happening, when she's in this bathtub. And it's so matter of fact. She's not screaming. It's not like the Hollywood thing that you would often do. And this is one thing I say, I feel like a lot of people can't write conflicts for women besides sexual assault. It seems to be like the only thing that particularly men can think of to write. But it's an incredibly brave film and very moving and an incredible first film. And I remember I read that Barry Jenkins saw Eva Victor's like Instagram, and they became friends at some point, and he was like, "Oh, you're a director." And before she had directed anything or written, and she'd only acted, and she was like, "Really? I don't see myself as that." And she was like, "Oh no, you need to be behind the camera." And that's part of what encouraged her to make this film.
Yeah. Additionally, she shadowed Jane Schoenbrunn on I Saw the TV Club. She apparently was hanging out on set with Jane and being like, how do you make a movie? And you see, I don't know if you see much of that influence visually on screen. It's a whole lot of tripod and a whole lot of lockdown shots, which is solid for a first feature. Like, you don't need any wild tricks. Like, you just need to get the basics down real good. And like visually, that's what this movie accomplishes. Similarly, the soundtrack, like, very small, very, very minimal soundtrack. Like, it's a lot of long silence, like just letting you sit with the weight of these kind of things. I feel so much for Agnes. Like, I just want to give her a big hug, and like, that's part of the theme of the film. There's a great scene towards the end of the movie where she kind of explains the title. It feels cynical, and I wish it didn't feel like a cynical movie. And maybe that's just me bringing my own emotions to it. I feel like so much of the message is like, there are good people out there who are there for you, but like, the world is hard and sucks and bad things are going to happen. And there's nothing anybody can do about that. Sorry, baby. And like, I wish I didn't feel that way. Like, damn, I wish this movie had something more hopeful to say to me. It does in its sense of comedy, like in its sense of like giving you a laugh when things are tough. Like, maybe that's more the message. But it's heavy. It's heavy for sure. Like, it's funny. It's darkly funny, but it's heavy. And I think that's important. Like, a content warning that should come with Sorry Baby, because I didn't know going in. I was like, I had loosely seen a trailer and then rented it on Prime to watch it for the show. That was as much as I knew getting into it. And it holds you at arm's length for the first act. It kind of gives you, it's told out of order, and it kind of gives you some space to be like, hey, something's up with Agnes, but I don't really know what. And you get down to it and it's like, oh, baby, I wish it wasn't this way. So yeah, it's like, it's sentimental and sincere. That's the word I was looking for. Tender, sincere, really great first work from Eva Victor. Like, just fantastic.
Yeah. And her performance is so profound because she doesn't do a lot of the cliche things that have become cliche in Hollywood when it comes to sexual assault. Like, she's not breaking down. She's not crying. She's not screaming. She's not throwing. Like, she kind of is actually the opposite. She becomes kind of in a trance. She's like stuck. She's kind of zombified. And again, this is part of the world moving on without her for several years while she's just sort of stuck in this stoic zone where she's just surviving, like, because she still has to keep living life, but she's also not advancing. So it's a very nuanced thing. Part of the humor I wanted to mention, there's a part where she's been interviewed by a doctor, and the doctor says something about, like, well, did your attacker do this? And she's like, well, I wouldn't say attacker. He didn't, like, wah. It wasn't quite like that. Like, and it's like, and the whole movie is like that. You don't know if you're supposed to laugh or you can laugh or not. But that's again it's part of how she's dealing with, but it's also part of how she sees the whole incident. Like, it's a very nuanced discussion over the situation. There's a part where she feels like sympathetic to the assaulter for a number of reasons that are explained in this film. Like, it's not just black and white. So very profound insight.
Yeah. Yeah, another great laugh in the movie, real subtle. She's got these terrible memories associated with this one specific office space on campus. And then after she graduates, she ends up working part-time and then getting hired full-time at the university, and they give her the exact office. Like, she's got these memories of it's the same room and it's like the same furniture. And it's like, oh man, like, it's just heavy. It's heavy. And I don't know. That's Sorry Baby. Andy, any other thoughts or recommendations?
I'm ready.
Andy, would you recommend Sorry Baby?
Yeah, absolutely good. This is a big surprise. Like I said, I'd heard a lot of buzz about it. It's funny, it's insightful, it's a great first film from writer, director, star Eva Victor. I'm anxious to see what she does next. Content warning, it does deal with some pretty heavy subject matter, so just be aware of that. But I would definitely recommend.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Big content warning. It's sexual assault, talk of suicide, like big challenging themes in here. But, also a very honest look at something that is so challenging that, like, does not have a binary black and white solution, right? Like, a shades of gray in spaces that film often doesn't travel to. Cannot wait to see what Eva Victor does next. She's tremendous. Act more, write more, direct more. Anywhere you want to go, I'm in. Like, this is a solid feature. Totally worth the watch. Worth mentioning, Victor tweeted just today, this is coming to HBO Max on October 30th. So if you don't want to rent it, if you don't want to spend the $6, which you should, we did, solid. It'll be on there over there right at the end of October. So keep an eye out for Sorry Baby. Good Lord, that's Off Script episode 309. Andy, what a week. What a week at the movies. What are we watching next week?
We're going to be taking a look at The Smashing Machine, which is the new indie films starring Dwayne Johnson as a legendary UFC fighter, Mark Kerr. This is it Benny Safdie or Josh Safdie? I can't remember who Safdie brother is.
I think Benny's doing it.
Thank you. Also starring Emily Blunt. A lot of buzz about this. The Rock's looking for an Oscar. We'll see if he earns it. And then maybe some TBD. There's a movie called Steve starring Cillian Murphy out on Netflix this week. I don't know anything about it other than he is in it. Some other FYI releases. Good Boy, the horror movie starring a dog, is also out this week, and Bone Lake, another horror movie that we heard some buzz about as well. But for next week, The Smashing Machine, and possibly Steve, will let you know.
Yeah, I'm interested in Good Boy, and I'll tell you, it's not for the plot. It's because I think it's like 76 minutes. And I'm like, ooh, less than feature length. That's technically a short film, right? I don't know if we'll end up watching that for the show. Yeah, we're definitely gonna check out Smashing Machine. I think we're probably gonna go watch One Battle again. If you have the means, I know we mentioned it in the review, but if you have an IMAX near you or 70 millimeter, or God willing, you've got one of these 3 VistaVision screens. I think LA, New York, and like Massachusetts are the only 3 places that have one. Please go see it over there. It is the best way to see that movie. The bigger format, the better. XD or Dolby, if you got that, that's fine, but like totally worth checking out. If you enjoyed the show today, Off Script episode 309, or any of our previous episodes, best way to support us is just subscribe to the show on your favorite platform. Big things going on YouTube. You can come check us out over there. Throw a like on a rating and review if you can, or check out some of our older reviews. We got them clipped out. Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, Google Play for our audio listeners. Come check us out over there as well. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, the usual social media places you can find us. Like, rate, review, and comment, of course. Our website is offscriptfilmreview.com. We're posting new stuff all the time. And you can email us correspondence directly, one-to-one, at mail@offscriptfilmreview.com. Right into the mailbag. Tell us what you're watching, what you're thinking about. I don't know. Let us know what you thought of One Battle After Another. And until next time, gosh, I think that's all of it. This is Off Script, episode 309, the home of Bold Cinema. I'm Zach Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Draper.
Thanks for watching.